September 30th, 1996, Yu-Gi-Oh! A story about a young boy named Yugi who loves games appears for the first time as a part of the Japanese weekly manga magazine Weekly Shonen Jump, issue number 1417. Since then, the franchise has become a gaming, anime, and multimedia powerhouse. Of the central figures in the franchise, few are as awe-inspiring or as important as the Blue Eyes White Dragon. In this video, we will uncover the full timeline of appearances of this monster, including its trading card releases, anime and manga appearances, and even some wackier stuff. We'll discuss the in-universe lore of the Blue Eyes White Dragon, and finally the card's current place in the trading card game meta. November 25th, 1996, the Blue Eyes White Dragon monster card appears in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga for the first time as a part of Weekly Shonen Jump number 50 of 1996, Chapter 9, The Cards with Teeth, Part 1. The card is owned by Yugi's grandpa, which draws the attention of Seto Kaiba, a student who attends school with Yugi and his friends. Kaiba attempts to buy the card from Yugi's grandpa with an entire briefcase full of cards. The next day at school, Kaiba surreptitiously switches the real Blue Eyes White Dragon with a fake copy. After Yugi attempts to get the Blue Eyes White Dragon back, Kaiba hits Yugi with his briefcase. Yugi's injury causes him to transform into his alter ego, Dark Yugi, and he proceeds to teach Kaiba a lesson. During the game, the monsters come to life, much to Kaiba's shock. December 2nd, 1996, the Blue Eyes White Dragon monster appears in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga as published in Weekly Shonen Jump number 51 of 1996 as part of Chapter 10, The Cards with Teeth, Part 2. During their shadow game, Yugi and Kaiba are playing. Kaiba manages to slip the Blue Eyes White Dragon he stole from Yugi onto his deck and summon it to the field. However, the Blue Eyes White Dragon, because it does not belong to Kaiba, disobeys him and destroys itself. Yugi then plays Monster Reborn to summon the Blue Eyes White Dragon to his own field and attack Kaiba for game. Dark Yugi then seals Kaiba within a card so that he might come to understand the heart of the cards. April 14th, 1997, the Blue Eyes White Dragon appears in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga as published in Weekly Shonen Jump number 18 of 1997 as part of Chapter 27, Project Start. Seto Kaiba unveils his new gaming amusement park, Kaiba Land. Yugi and his friend Jinochi attend the grand opening. For the special event, Kaiba reveals Yugi's grandfather sealed in a cube. Kaiba explains that him and Yugi's grandpa are to duel. During the game, it is revealed that Kaiba has recreated Dark Yugi's shadow magic with virtual reality technology. Yugi's grandpa draws Blue Eyes White Dragon, only to be shocked when Kaiba then plays his own Blue Eyes White Dragon, then a second one, then a third one. He explains that there are only 4 known copies in the world, and he went and collected them all through nefarious means. Kaiba summarily defeats Yugi's grandpa and rips up the 4th Blue Eyes White Dragon as a punishment. He then subjects Yugi's grandpa to a virtual reality version of a penalty game, just like Yugi did to him last time. If Yugi wants Kaiba to stop the simulator, Yugi has to agree to face the hidden attraction of Kaiba Land, Death Tea, the theme park of death that he built to exact his revenge on Yugi. April 21st, 1997, Blue Eyes White Dragon appears in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga as published in Weekly Shonen Jump number 19 of 1997 as part of Chapter 28, First Battlefield. Kaiba explains that Yugi will have to face a series of deadly challenges and then duel him at the top floor of the building. He further explains that his grandpa's deck is now worse, considering it has no Blue Eyes White Dragons, and Kaiba himself has 3, seen here. May 1st, 1997, Blue Eyes White Dragon appears in the Tankobon Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga as part of Duel 9, The Cards with Teeth, and Cards with Teeth Part 2, in the collected edition of Yu-Gi-Oh! Volume 2. June 23rd, 1997, Blue Eyes White Dragon appears in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga as published in Weekly Shonen Jump number 28 of 1997 as part of Chapter 36, Battle Beyond Hope. After arriving at the top floor of Kaiba's Death Tea Gauntlet, Kaiba mentions again the Blue Eyes White Dragons in his deck. June 30th, 1997, Blue Eyes White Dragon appears in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga as published in Weekly Shonen Jump, number 29, 1997, as part of Chapter 37, To the Death. During he and Yugi's final duel, Kaiba summons the Blue Eyes White Dragon to destroy Yugi's Gaia the Fierce Knight. July 7th, 1997, Blue Eyes White Dragon appears in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga as published in Weekly Shonen Jump number 30 of 1997 as part of Chapter 38, The Terror of Blue Eyes. Kaiba manages to summon a second Blue Eyes White Dragon, to which Yugi counters by playing the Swords of Revealing Light to halt their attacks. Kaiba then draws and plays the third Blue Eyes White Dragon. July 14th, 1997, Blue Eyes White Dragon appears in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga as published in Weekly Shonen Jump number 31 of 1997 as part of Chapter 39, End of the Deathmatch. The chapter begins with all 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons on the field. Kaiba is sure to win until Yugi draws Exodia the Forbidden One, destroying Kaiba's Blue Eyes and the rest of his life points. September 4th, 1997, Blue Eyes White Dragon appears in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga as part of Duel 27, Project Start, and 28, The First Battlefield, in the reprinted manga Tankobon. November 4th, 1997, Blue Eyes White Dragon appears in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga as part of Battle 36, Last Battle of Uncertainty, as well as number 37, 38, and 39 in the reprinted manga Tankobon. If you're interested in more of this kind of content, let me know. We'll finish up.